Have you ever wondered about the breakthroughs that almost were? The moments in history that pivoted on a single idea, only to be lost to time? What if I told you that one such invention, a device with the power to reshape the very fabric of American life, was created, patented, and then vanished without a trace? This isn't just a story of a lost gadget. It's a mystery that could have altered the course of our nation. Let's rewind to the late 1920s, a time of roaring innovation and dizzying change. In a dusty workshop in rural Ohio, a quiet, unassuming inventor named Thomas Hale was on the brink of a revolution. Hale wasn't your typical tycoon. He was a thinker, a tinkerer, driven by a simple desire to improve the lives of ordinary people. After years of relentless work, he finally perfected his prototype. He called it the etheric resonator. Hale's device was astounding. It was a compact, elegantly designed box that could harness ambient atmospheric energy and convert it into clean, usable electricity for a home. Imagine it, a world without the need for sprawling power grids, a world where every household, no matter how remote, could generate its own power for free after a small initial cost. This wasn't just an improvement, it was a complete paradigm shift. On a crisp autumn evening, Hale demonstrated his device for a handful of local investors and a young, ambitious journalist, Emily Ross. He switched on the resonator, and instantly, his entire workshop lit up brighter than it ever had with grid power. The room was filled with a low, gentle hum, the sound of a new era dawning. Ross was captivated, scribbling furiously in her notepad. This was the story of a lifetime. Buoyed by the successful demonstration, Thomas Hale took the next logical step. He journeyed to Washington, D.C., his precious blueprints tucked securely under his arm. There, he met with Li Wei Chen, a meticulous and forward-thinking patent examiner. Chen, accustomed to a deluge of fantastical but impractical ideas, was initially skeptical. But as Hale laid out his schematics and explained the physics behind his etheric resonator, Chen's skepticism melted away. The science was sound, the engineering was brilliant. The patent was granted, officially documenting one of the most significant inventions of the 20th century. With the patent secured, Hale's invention was now a matter of public record. But that's precisely when things get strange. The patent trail, which should have led to manufacturing, investment, and fame, instead goes cold. It's as if Thomas Hale and his resonator simply fell off the face of the earth. What happened? Why didn't the etheric resonator change the world? To find answers, we have to look at the powerful forces of the time. The 1920s were the golden age of industrial expansion. Men like Victor Crane, a ruthless industrial magnate, had invested fortunes billions in today as money into building the very power grids that Hale's invention would render obsolete. Crane saw the etheric resonator not as progress, but as an existential threat. News of Hale's patent, though not yet public, had reached his ears through his network of informants. He couldn't allow it. A quiet but intense campaign began. Fledgling news reports about Hale's work, like the one penned by the eager journalist Emily Ross, were mysteriously pulled from publication. Potential investors suddenly grew cold. Their funding offers rescinded without explanation. A coordinated effort of industrial pushback and media silence effectively suffocated Hale's invention before it could even draw its first breath. Hale found himself isolated, his workshop doors shuttered, his dream turning into a nightmare. Decades later, the story resurfaced thanks to the tireless work of people like Samuel Porter, a historical archivist who stumbled upon a faded newspaper clipping mentioning Hale's demonstration. When I first read it, Porter recalls, I thought it was just sensationalist fodder. But then I found the patent file. It was all there. The schematics, the examiner's notes, everything. Porter's research confirmed the device's viability and unearthed evidence of the systematic suppression. Experts who have analyzed the recovered blueprints agree the etheric resonator was scientifically plausible. Its impact would have been monumental. So, let's play what if. What if Hale had succeeded? Imagine a United States where the Great Depression's economic hardship was softened by free energy for all. Rural communities, long left behind by electrification, would have flourished. The energy crises of the 1970s? They might never have happened. The geopolitical conflicts fought over oil? Perhaps they could have been avoided. We'd be living in a world with a drastically smaller carbon footprint, where the air is cleaner and the planet is healthier. The decentralization of power would have meant a decentralization of influence, shifting the economic landscape away from massive corporations and back toward individual households and small communities. It's a staggering vision of a different America, a more equitable and sustainable path we never took. The ripple effects would have touched every aspect of modern life. But that's not the world we live in. Thomas Hale disappeared from the public eye. Rumors suggest he lived out his days in quiet obscurity, a broken man, forever haunted by the future he almost created. The etheric resonator became a ghost, a whisper in the archives of history. Emily Ross, the journalist, reportedly left the profession after her story was killed, disillusioned by the power of money to silence truth. Victor Crane's empire flourished. His power grid spread across the nation, and his name is now etched onto university buildings and philanthropic foundations. The darker side of his legacy buried deep. The story of Thomas Hale and his lost invention is more than just a historical curiosity. It's a powerful and emotional lesson about innovation, power, and the forces that shape our world. It reminds us that progress is not inevitable. It has to be fought for, protected, and championed against those who fear change. It's a somber reminder of how easily brilliant ideas can be extinguished by greed and fear. What other etheric resonators have been lost to time, buried in forgotten patent files, or suppressed by powerful interests? We may never know, but Hale's story compels us to stay curious, to question the narratives we're given, and to champion the innovators of today who are fighting to build a better tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into one of history's most fascinating mysteries. If you found this story as compelling as I did, please hit that like button and consider subscribing for more deep dives into the stories that shape our world. What do you think would have happened if Hale's invention had been released? Let me know in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious.